So I almost didn't make this video, but then I was like, why not? Right? And I may do these more often, and maybe I'll call them like manifestation updates. Though I'm not one that's new with knowing and seeing the results of the things that I desire to manifest actually manifesting. Maybe I'll just share some. And, the one thing I'll say is that when it comes to skeptics regarding manifesting things, a lot of the times it's an individual that's looking at the person talking about manifesting, and then they, based off of what they desire to have in the world, if the person speaking about it isn't projecting or showing the things that they desire, that the skeptic that is, to them, showing those things, then they feel, oh, they must not be manifesting, right? But it's like people have the things that they desire and everybody doesn't want the same thing. So this morning I woke up hungry, and I'll do experiments from time to time where I see how I can affect the realm. And in my cycle, sometimes it's a time period where there's more resistance towards manifesting, and then there's a time period where things manifest fast. Right now, I'm noticing for me, it's a time where the things I'm thinking are showing up at a fast rate. Well, this morning I wake up hungry, and we recently found a place that had buckwheat pancakes. So I'm craving breakfast food this morning, and I say to myself, okay, let's see what we can do with this. So Sarah finally kind of like moves and shows some sign of being awake, and I say to her, "Are you sure you don't want to eat this morning?" And she doesn't say anything. And then later on, she wakes up and goes off and does whatever it is she was doing, and then she comes back to me and she says, "If I order, will you go pick it up?" So I say, "Order what?" And she says, "Breakfast." And I say, "Yeah, I would have went and picked it up anyway, maybe." But at that moment, I said, "Okay." I didn't tell her I wanted breakfast, and I just planted a little seed, right? So she goes and orders, and she comes back and she tells me she got my buckwheat pancakes, and she got me a few eggs. And immediately, inside, I'm like, I want more eggs than normal, but I don't say anything, right? And time goes on, and I go get the food, and I come back, and then it turns out that they didn't put the little powdery sugar on her French toast, and they ended up putting granola in my buckwheat pancakes, and I don't normally get the granola. So we had a problem. And at this moment, it was like a fork in the road where either we dealt with the food, and she could have ate the French toast without the little sugar powder stuff. But me, I don't do granola, period. So I would have had to go. I would have had to take it back because I don't eat the granola, right? Um, so I say, she calls and they say, you can just we'll just remake the order if you don't mind coming back. And I didn't mind coming back. So I go up there, or well, before I go, I tell Sarah, I say, I'm going to keep my eggs. I'm not one that likes to return food. I just don't like the like, I don't, you never know the mood of someone in the kitchen and stuff like that. So I try to keep as much as possible. That's just something in me, right? So I said, I'll keep my eggs. And I'm not thinking of them making me any more eggs. Though earlier I did express to myself inside that I wanted more eggs. I keep my eggs. I take the the pancakes and the French toast and Sarah's eggs back up there. And I sit and I just wait. And then when the guy comes back out, he's like, okay, we have your your pancakes and the French toast, and we just went ahead and made new eggs for both. At that moment, if you don't if you remember, I said this morning when Sarah was making the order, I wanted more eggs. I just didn't say anything, right? I didn't say anything to her. I said to myself, I want more eggs. At that moment, you know, yeah, I could have ordered more eggs, but I didn't want to do that. And this is the kind of things I do from time to time. So, what ends up happening when it comes to, well, for me, a lot of the times when it comes to manifesting, right? Because a skeptic will always focus on, since they don't believe in, the subconscious mind having the ability to affect, the physical world or the mind, even though they tell you mind over matter. But they'll get stuck on the effects that which bring the things, the cause and effects, the shifting and the moving. But skip the fact that my initial thought of wanting more eggs was the force, like the butterfly flapping his wings, and when they talk about the butterfly effect, that caused the cause of events in which that led me to ending up with the extra eggs that I initially wanted. I wanted the eggs. So something had to happen for me to get the eggs, right? Most people would have just bought the extra eggs. But what happened in my case was my desire for the extra eggs ended up causing, through, that unseen realm, a mess up in the order. And whether you believe it or not is irrelevant, because the universe is mental. So that means what I believe is unique to me, and what I believe will happen for me, and what you believe is unique to you and will happen for you. And our difference in belief is going to be the thing that determines what you experience that I don't, and what I experience that you don't. And I believe that I have the ability to make changes in my reality based off of my intention and my thoughts. So this was a moment in which, well, again, like I said before, I do it all the time, but this was a moment where it happened and it was just so obvious. And I didn't mention it to Sarah until I got back with the food. I said to her, I said, because I do my little experiments in my own self, in my mind. And I said to her, I said, it ended up working out for me, because this morning I wanted extra eggs. I just didn't say anything to you. And I ended up getting them because they messed up the order. Therefore, I had to bring the food back. And I told them that I was going to keep my eggs. They didn't have to make me new eggs. And I expected them not to. At that point, I just wanted to eat. So I just let the extra eggs go. I didn't see it as an opportunity to get new eggs. That's why she told them, I'm going to keep my eggs. And it just so happened, right, it was a coincidence that they ended up making me new eggs, and I ended up with the extra eggs that I initially wanted when she made the order. And this kind of stuff happens to me all the time, so it's nothing new. But I'm just sharing it. For me, right now is a time where, I tend to focus on the things that appeal to me, the things that get me going, the things that are of my taste, my current taste, and of my future taste. Because I've noticed that which I focus on at this moment tends to, right now, is manifesting around me, meaning I'll be thinking or looking into things right now, and then I'll go about in the outside world, and all of the things that I'm looking at are now showing up around me. The things that I was looking at earlier, right, are showing up around. And that's normally a sign for me that, okay, this is a time for me to up my focus and my tunnel vision towards my taste. And that's what I'm doing. And a little bit of that has to do with, if you've listened to some Take the Nights, which you can go listen to our moon awareness. You can definitely find, I have a blog talk show where my co-host and I talk about similar topics like this, and you can find that on Blog Talk. It's Take the Night. You can also find the show on YouTube at Take the Night, and I also post some of our shows on this channel. But we have a moon show. As the moon begins to build with that energy, you're either building with it in terms of the things that you're focusing on, and reaffirming the things that you desire, or you're doing the complete opposite. You're building on reaffirming the things that you wish not to desire through an ignorance, in a sense, to not having the awareness or the initiation to the fact that what the moon is doing. But you could check that out. We have a show, like I said before, it's Moon Awareness. And yeah, I just wanted to share that. Like right now, a lot of things have come up in this realm that's trying to cause you to kind of get into your feelings and get upset. But you really have to ignore it the best you can and focus on the feelings and the things that you want to feel and experience, because that's how you'll offset tuning yourself to things that you don't want. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. You guys have a good day. Oh, and also, I write music and stuff like that. You can check me out on SoundCloud. It's simply Boyd. And I also have my music in the playlists below. Well, not below, but on this YouTube, I have my music in the playlist, a couple EPs, and then there's like stray songs. But yeah. And I talk about some of these things in my music, in a song I have called Zoning. Control the mind's the only mission, because they tell you mind over matter, so that means that the mission is to control the mind. Therefore you'll have some kind of effect over matter, so yeah, thanks for listening. Whoever sees this, subscribe maybe if you dig it, and Take the Night will be back soon enough. But you can definitely check out the archives. We have some pretty interesting shows. We had some good guests too. So, but yeah, like I said before, you guys have a good day. Keep it optimistic. Keep it of your taste, of your desired taste, and the things that make you feel good. Keep that in mind. Keep that focus, because this moon is tuning those things to you. And test it out. You have nothing else to lose, right? Bye-bye.
We'll live a life, I'll take the night.